These are both the Google Pixel 6 Pro and the Google Pixel 6, and I've done my individual video impressions on them, but I thought let me pitch them together and pretty much kind of give you my initial thoughts on both and which one might so far kind of suit your needs and what you might lean onto. So these are Google's first Tensor powered in-house designed flagship devices, and at $599 for the Pixel 6 and also £849 UK pounds for the Pixel 6 Pro starting with 128 gigabytes. Which one is the one for you? Let's talk about it with my impressions of both the Pixel 6 Pro versus the Pixel 6. Let's go. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn the notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. Because boy, I've got a lot loaded up in terms of content for both the Pixel 6 Pro and the Pixel 6, so stay around. But a few things out of the way, this video is just an impressions video, not a review, because at the time of this recording, I've had it since the 14th, today's the 20th, so it's been about 5 days with both of them after the individual videos that I've done, but I'm definitely gonna need more time testing it. So later on, when the embargo is for the full-fledged review, you'll be able to see everything. So right now, it's just first look together, technical specs, as much as I can show you just on the home screen and anything else that I've experienced with it. But with that out of the way, let's get into them. As always, I like to start from the outside and work our way in. Let's look at the design, the build, and the whole finish and handling. And both of them actually handle quite similar, but still there are differences. And they're using top materials between both. If you look at the Pixel 6 Pro, it is a 6.7-inch display, and it's a much larger frame in that sense, whereas it's 6.4 inches on the Pixel 6. If you look at the materials, you do have Corning Gorilla Glass Victus on both the front, but then the back is slightly different. At the back, this is Corning Gorilla Glass 6 on the Pixel 6, and you have got Victus at the back. And the metal rails are slightly different as well. This is polished, and you see the silver finish on the Pixel 6 Pro, but you do have a much more matte, tactile finish on the Pixel 6, which is kind of preferred in a way. And if you look at it, you do have a curved front for the Pixel 6 Pro, and it's a flat display on here. Now, in terms of handling and weight-wise, this is 210 grams and this is 207. So it doesn't actually feel that different. So that's actually quite impressive if you look at it from the Pixel 6 Pro in terms of just how it is for the weight and what's in there, especially for the battery size. In terms of the overall dimensions, the Pixel 6 Pro is coming in at 163.9 millimeters in terms of the height, 75.9 millimeters in terms of the width, and 8.9 millimeters in terms of the thickness and depth. And if we look at the Pixel 6, it is smaller, so it's 158.6 millimeters in terms of the height, 74.8 millimeters in terms of the width, and 8.9 millimeters in terms of the depth. And the weight is not that much different, 210 grams versus 207. Overall, in terms of the handling, the most unique part is the camera bump at the back, or the camera visor, which kind of allows your finger to sit there as a support system. On top of that as well, stops the phone from rocking when we use it without a case. Nice and convenient in that sense. The power buttons and the volume buttons are on the same side, which I'm still not used to for that sense that they're reversed. Power buttons at the top and volumes at the bottom. I would have preferred them to be on opposite sides, and I stated this in my individual video, so it kind of gets you need a bit of time to get used to. But overall, you have USB-C, dual speakers, IP68. In terms of the handling, a lot more similar than you would expect, but slightly easier with the flat display on the Pixel 6, so kind of no surprise when it comes to that. Now for the display experience on both the Pixel 6 Pro and Pixel 6, and without a doubt, things are going to lean much more towards the Pro. Why? 6.7 inches, and Google are calling this a waterfall display, so you do have curves on the right and the left. And then compared to the Pixel 6, it's 6.4 inches, and it's using a completely flat display. Slightly thicker bezels, but it's even and symmetrical all around, so it makes it easier to look at. Not really much of an issue. But in terms of the specs, the Pixel 6 Pro is using a quad high definition plus at 3120 by 1440p. It is a bright OLED display, definitely without a doubt, and it's using 120 Hertz. But not just the standard, it is LTPO, so it is variable between 10 Hertz all the way up to 120 Hertz, which is great to see. This one is using a full high definition plus 1080p display, and it's 90 Hertz. It's not LTPO, so it should be static at 90 Hertz most of the time. What you can't do so far by the looks of it is change this down to 1080p. So it's running at QHD plus all the time. Not really a problem. You can change the refresh rate on both down to 60 Hertz to save battery there. Now, to my eyes, without a doubt, the Pixel 6 Pro display is clean. It's really nice to use, but I have to say the Pixel 6, for the size of it, is plenty sharp and not a problem at all. And the difference between the refresh rate, yeah, you notice it side by side, but it's not too extreme. And it's great that they've got 90 Hertz at least on here. In terms of the display experience, it's good. I'm happy with it. And these are gonna be some of the best displays you're gonna find on a smartphone, especially when it comes to the Pixel 6 Pro. So I don't think you'd be disappointed. Yes, the accidental touches that could come, I've not experienced it yet, so it's well handled and well managed. But overall, the display experience has been great on both. Now for the specs and the performance, and this one is interesting and exciting for both devices. Why? Because they're both powered by Google's Tensor chip with 5G support and the Titan M2 co-processor for security, backed with 8 GB of RAM on the Pixel 6, 12 GB of RAM on the Pixel 6 Pro, both LPDDR5, and both have 128 GB of UFS 3.1 storage. Overall, you do have 256 in the UK, and I believe some of the American models have 512, but it really depends on the colors and they break differently. But I stated that in my individual videos. Now, as Tensor is Google's first ever in-house design processor, it could be a massive game changer for both speed, image processing, for pictures and video, security, AI, battery life. And the most important thing is long-term support on the OS level. They've said 5 years of security. We just don't know what it will translate to OS version. Let's hope at least 4 years, if not match with the same 5 years. Now look, unless I stand corrected, as I stated before, I will mention this in my full review, but it should be a 5nm process, 8-core design in a 224 configuration. The 2 most powerful cores should be running at a max 2.8 GHz, followed by 2 mid-cores at 2.25 GHz and 4 efficiency cores at 1.8 GHz. And what should be the Mali G78 GPU, which should be a 20-core GPU design. Now, you do get Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2 on both, and dual SIM support with 1 eSIM and 1 nano SIM. But you do get the UWB chip in the Pixel 6 Pro, which is something that helps with range and more accurate low energy Bluetooth, like what you see with tags. So this is something that's interesting. And as much as I don't usually do this, but might be running some benchmarks videos to really see what is happening with Tensor power compared to the competition and overall. Now, next is the camera hardware, and this is exciting because we're seeing new hardware all around since as far back as the Google Pixel 2. So breaking it down, Pixel 6 Pro is a triple camera versus a dual camera on the rear, but they're very similar. You've got single hole punch selfies at the front, and it's an interesting breakdown. Why? And if you start with the main sensor, both share the same 50 megapixel sensor with an f1.8 aperture, 1.2 micron pixel size, 82-degree field of view, and a 1/1.31 inch image sensor, and support with OIS and EIS. And you get on the Pixel 6 7x digital zoom with super res. Now, if you actually go to the ultra wide, both are using 12 megapixels for the ultra wide, and you do have an f2.2 aperture and a 1.25 micron pixel size and 114-degree field of view. Now, what you do get on the Pixel 6 Pro is that optical zoom with the 48 megapixel sensor is dedicated up to 4x optical zoom and 20x super res zoom, which is great to see. Now the differences come to the front. The megapixels on the selfie here is 11.1 megapixels on a Pixel 6 Pro versus 8 megapixels on here. That then changes things because you do get 4K 30 frames a second video recording on the selfie camera. You get a wider field of view at 94 degrees as well, which is great to see. And you only get 1080p 30 on here. So just take that into account. But both the main cameras at the back do support 4K 60, and then the rest of the cameras at the back support 4K 30. So just bear that in mind in terms of the video capabilities. But more testing coming soon in terms of camera tests and samples and all the new features such as True Tone, which really help with people with my skin tone getting the best accurate color, which I've been enjoying so far, but wait for it and see, and the Magic Eraser and all the other different shooting modes that you're gonna get, but more testing on that very soon. Now for the battery and charging experience on both, and they're packing. Pixel 6 is rocking on 4,640 milliamps versus 5,003 milliamps. Both support their new 30-watt wire charging, and you do get up to 20-watt wireless charging on the Pixel 6 and 23 on the Pixel 6 Pro if you use the new Pixel Stand Charger Generation 2, and both do have battery share as well. Now, like I stated, you don't get charger in the box, so this is something that you have to buy separately, and I've pre-ordered it. It's about £25 in the UK for the 30-watt charger over USB-C. And I believe it supports the PPS standard of power delivery because My power delivery charges that I have here, I wasn't getting the claimed 1% to 50% charge in 30 minutes on both devices. So stay tuned for that. I will get that covered. But overall, the battery experience has actually been really good, but final verdict for that in the full review. And as stated before, no one's surprised here, both the Pixel 6 Pro and Pixel 6 are at the forefront of the latest version of Android, which is Android 12, running the full Pixel UI experience and the benefits that come with it. And again, look, at this time of this recording, I can only really show you the home screen for whatever reason, but more will come in the full review. And we're pretty much seeing a decent amount on Android 12 right now from Material U. But overall, we'll try and cover it. As much as I don't cover software on this channel, I'm eager to probably drop one on this one. So stay tuned for that. But overall, the software experience feels great, no doubt. Now, wrapping this up, my initial impressions of both these devices so far are good. Why? $599 on the Pixel 6 versus $849 on the Pixel 6 Pro. Wow. Without knowing fully everything, which stay tuned, we're gonna have it all, camera, battery, the whole lot. This is very interesting. And the value that they bring in, this is gonna be interesting to test now. But like I said, more for the long term for what they can do with now being Tensor powered. Definitely, this has me excited. And it looks like Google have really pulled the stops on this one. And it's impressive. So watch out for the full coverage so that we can actually know where they stand. But yeah, this is it. Pixel 6 Pro versus the Pixel 6. Let me know in the comment section below which one you're leaning towards. And that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do, man. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.